Hey guys, thanks for joining us as I have a little conversation with Eric. Eric Harsh is one of our faithful attendees and core members here at Berean, and got to be a very close friend of mine. So Eric, it's been an honor walking with you the last a couple years.
I appreciate you having me, and I know this was kind of a big step for me, but we can gladly do it.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about it, and I know your heart is. And just for all of you to know, we're really focusing on this idea of stepping out in faith or pursuing faith outside of your comfort zone. So I know that's become a passion of yours with the last 2 years of the crazy, exciting, and also rewarding journey you walked. But tell us a little bit about maybe before the 2 years from now. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your history.
Okay, so just to start from the beginning, I was born in Oakland, Maryland. I didn't have a very good upcoming. My father left when I was shortly after I was born, and church was never really a thing for me. I would go once a month later on in life, but up until my 20s, I probably didn't go.
Wow. Now, somewhere through that, from where you were born in Maryland to coming up into your 20s, you moved to Ohio, sort of settled in here, and I know that obviously before you started going out with your wife that you're now married to, which has been a great journey for you, but before that, in your thought process of Christians and churchgoers, tell us a little bit about, I know from speaking to you, you have a little bit of a stigma about Christians. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I guess my excuse for never coming to church was I always believed that, a Christian has a perfect life. Mm-hmm. So, I had a kid before I was married, she left, so I had that against me, and then I cussed, I drank, I partied entirely too hard, and I just never had time to go to church. I was always doing something else, and I just had this excuse or stigma that led me to think it was all right.
Mm-hmm. Well, and with that idea of that stigma that you had about Christians or churchgoers in general, I know that was a really big step for your walk in the doors here at Berean. But before we go there for a little bit, though, I know you're not, you've noted you're not one to really speak a lot and go out and preach on the street corners, right? But the message you're sharing of this expansion you did of your horizon and a big leap of walking in these church doors, the misconceptions that I think you noted you feel like are pretty common among people or non-Christians that you're pretty passionate about. Tell us those misconceptions you now would like to address.
So a couple of them is one of them is the perfect life. I mean, everybody here has their own struggle they're going through, whether it's me or you or anybody. We all have our own struggle. So the perfect life thing came off the table for me after I started attending. The other thing was the judgment that you would get when you walk in. Me being not known to anybody, I think I knew one person when I decided to come here. And since then I've got to know a lot of people and have gained a lot of friends through this. But the judgment, especially like, he's got a kid and his current wife's not the mother of that child, that wore on me for a while. And then when I first came, we were nothing but welcomed, and it didn't matter whether it was hers biologically or not. We got treated with the utmost respect.
Well, praise God. That's our heart and passion here. Now, with that idea, and I know you've shared this with me before, but being afraid, again, thinking of the idea we're addressing of you being maybe courageous, maybe just going beyond your fears of your comfort zone. So that first time you came to a church and hadn't really, attended a church, what was the biggest? You had the misconceptions, but what would you say the biggest fear was of walking in those doors?
I'd say the biggest fear was, I know it wouldn't actually happen, but essentially getting laughed out. Mm-hmm. Like I was the complete outsider, and luckily through life I've had people that have kind of always held my hand per se, mm-hmm. and got me there, and then as it started off, I'd go once a month, and then twice a month, and now I go to church every Sunday. I know it's not always here. We got busy lifestyle, other baptisms, we've been to other churches, but every Sunday there's something going, and I'm at church.
So after you sort of climbed that wall or broke that ice, what draws you or what drives you to be in a church service almost every Sunday? Or what makes you feel like this is where I want to be now? Contrary to, oh my goodness, I never want to go there.
So essentially, I didn't really start going until after I was in my 20s, and once I started going, the knowledge that came from it and the lifestyle that came from it, I've quit cussing, I've quit a lot of bad habits since I started, and just the knowledge I get every Sunday, and then there's some Sundays that just hit you right, per se, and it doesn't always make you feel good, but it puts you in check to let you know, hey, this is a problem in your life. And that's the challenge of it that I enjoy. I enjoy trying to work on myself and those around me at this point.
Well, I've noticed that huge change in you, and I know you've expressed before that you realize and understand that's Jesus in you, and the new birth of being a follower of Jesus. Now, in the last two plus years, you've had a lot of changes. You were baptized upon your faith in Jesus Christ. You married a Christian lady. You're now really plugged in here at Berean Community Church. So all of that changed your life completely. But like you said, the other things in your life have been influenced by all of that and have changed as well. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's completely fair to say. And I have grown tremendously, even to the point of doing this. I think I just called you when I was at work driving down the road, and something was telling me between our men's Bible study and the sermon you had preached that I need to do something more than what I'm doing, and that's what I think led to this.
So on that note, and in wrapping this up for everybody that's listening, what's the biggest thing you would tell somebody of that's afraid to really connect? And granted, you said you had went to church occasionally, but to really open themselves up and connect with believers or Christians, followers of Jesus, what's the biggest thing you have to say to them this morning?
I would say just go. I mean, the hardest part is just getting through the door. And once you're through the door, the people around you kind of take over. So I would just go to church. I mean, be open to it. And to add to that a little bit, if you attend here every Sunday, bring somebody that's struggling. Be that person. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to get from this, and that whether it's me bringing somebody or anybody listening to this, that they will step up and be that person and plant that seed. And yeah, I mean, for me, it might have took 5 years before that seed actually grew into something, but others it might be 2 weeks. I mean, it might be 10 years, but they'll have that. So just be that person. And if it wasn't for those people in my life, and this is where I have to thank my wife, like I would not be where I'm at.
Well, Eric, I'm excited because the journey you've walked, where you're at, in your words, is a result of all of those bold steps you took, and then what Jesus does through that. So the fact of you sharing that testimony to everybody who's listening, and the urge for them to just do it, plug in and connect, and that's our message. That's what we're talking about, is that pursuit of faith. It's scary and it's out of your comfort zone, not what we grew up with, but you're a living testimony of that. So I'm proud of who you are now, and it's because of Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
Thanks for being willing to share in this way. And guys, I want to encourage all of you that are listening to this, feel free to connect with Eric. There's lots of ways you can connect with him, and you'll be able to find out about that. But connect with Eric, and I know, Eric, is it right? Your heart is just, you would love to speak to somebody who's in that decision-making process of should I or shouldn't I, or where should I go?
Yeah, or even if they know somebody that would want to talk to me, I'm open to it all. I mean, I'll stand in the back with you and gladly anybody that has anything that they want to ask or questions about my journey, I will answer them, just for the simple fact that I'm hoping my journey helps others.
Well, that is the Christian life and reaching out to others. So, Eric, thank you, and thanks for joining me on here. I appreciate you, brother. You're a friend. You are a close friend, and we're in this together.
Well, thank you.